everyone. My name is Sidi Warapila, and this is the book feature of the Imperative magazine. So, some of you who've been with us on this feature, you'd know that books are those tools or those equipment that has helped me to grow as a person. From someone who went through the school and noticed that she can't read, or she can't read for meaning, and only learning how to read and to read for meaning in my matured years in the corporate world. So books helped me to gain confidence and to be in that space and to own my space, but most importantly to dwell deeper into my mind and understand who this person is. And so when we bring this feature, we really wanting that connectivity with humanity or with the soul. And I am so honored that you are with me here today. And this beautiful serene set, right? You guys are feeling the love. You just have beautiful singing birds and or talking to us or just enjoying this with us. So stay tuned and let's enjoy the moment as today we're talking to the amazing SanaKing. I don't know why her name is King. She'll tell us. And we're talking about this book, which is called Songs Broken Women Sing, a hymn of healing. Hey,
Yes.
Sana.
Hello.
How are you?
I am feeling beautiful. How are you feeling?
You're feeling beautiful. Wow, that's
I feel
amazing. I've never
amazing.
heard that. I'm still in that. Is that what you say all the time?
Well, I just got caught up in the moment to say that. I
Oh,
guess.
wow. And
Yeah.
is this, does it have to do with this, right? It
Yeah,
does.
we
eh?
connect with nature. You spoke of the singing birds and all
yes.
of that jazz. So I think it's just a calming environment. It's beautiful.
Yeah, beautiful. So, I mean, songs broken women sing. This is deep, right? And just my disclaimer before we go into you. When I got this book, I'm getting it, and I'm like, is this it? That's the first thing that I said. I'm like, is this it? What? But I realized that with every page, as small as it is, it's very deep, right? And I want to go into the deliberate act that you took in making this very small and not the traditional reading that it is. But before we go into that, who is Sana?
So SanaKing, number one, is a name that is derived from my father's surname. So my father's surname is Hosanna.
Hosanna.
Yeah.
Oh,
So,
okay.
which is the surname I'm meant to be using. So, Hosanna, which is basically like King Sana, but I changed it and said SanaKing. Hosanna.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, that makes sense. All right.
Yes. So, SanaKing is this young poet that
Yeah.
discovered her gift of poetry at the age of 11.
Okay.
Tell you what, I was writing a lot at that time because I needed to express my feelings, but I didn't have
Yeah.
anybody to express them to.
Okay.
It was just after my parents' separation.
Okay.
My mom.
So you were 11 at that time?
Yeah.
Okay.
So they kind of separated at age 9 to 10. Then we moved into a different space and when I was 11. So my mom was young.
Yeah.
It was the three of us then.
Okay.
She was renting this house. She was unemployed.
Yeah.
Our income was less than our expenses.
Yeah.
So we literally survived on miracles.
Yeah.
My mom was young. She was scared. She was in a new environment. She was
Yeah.
very frustrated.
Yeah.
And she
how young?
threw-
How young was he at that time?
I'm not sure, but my mom is 17 years older than me.
Okay. All right.
So
yeah.
at that time, she was throwing all her tantrums to me because I'm the eldest one. And yeah, I couldn't communicate with her. So I
And what
began.
would the tantrums feel like, or what would they be like?
She was never kind.
Oh, okay.
You know? And she was hurt.
Yeah.
So she was trying to heal. She was so hurt and she felt so alone. You know, every time we'd go to school, she'd be left alone, debilitating walls about how to make ends meet. And it was not nice at all. And at that time, I began to write because I wanted to express how I felt. My mom was hurt. I had a lot of anger towards my father because I did not understand why he had left us. So literally, the anger that I had was too much that I'd always picture myself beating up my dad. But every time I saw him, it melted because of this natural love that I have for him. And when I looked at him, I forgot to always say, but yesterday we didn't have bread money.
Wow.
I don't have pocket money for school tomorrow.
Yeah.
Because of I felt so complete in his presence. He's all I've ever known. I've
Yeah.
always preferred my dad to my mom because
Yeah. So you've been daddy's girl.
yes, so to have
Yes.
moved away from that, and every time I come back home and there's no bread, I have to walk a lot of kilometers to school. I got so upset, and I couldn't express it to my mom. And you know, being at school, call the teacher's pet because the teachers like you do your work right. And, I always felt like I was alone.
So even in the midst of the pain, Sana, you were still able to go to school and perform in that environment. So here you are in the school environment, you are the teacher's pet, right? And then at home, you are nobody's pet, right? There's just this frustration because let's not forget that hurt people hurt, right?
Yes.
So
Yes.
and if I'm hurt, what do I give you? I can only give you hurt.
Yes.
So you live in these both worlds that are just so dynamic and complex. But what says to you? So let me write. What says right?
I think it's easier to adjust from no spoon to a silver spoon than it is to adjust from a silver spoon to no spoon at all.
That makes so much sense. I've never had that.
It's easy to adjust to no spoon to silver spoon.
No spoon to silver spoon, yes.
Than it is to adjust from a silver spoon to no spoon at all.
Oh my God.
So
that's such a beautiful narrative. I've never heard of that.
I've lived in my thoughts a lot. Because I was trying to understand what the circumstance was now.
Yeah.
I didn't have the lunchbox anymore. I didn't have the pocket money anymore.
Okay.
So when it was lunchtime and the feeding scheme container was opened, I was that child that ran to there. And it didn't make sense to those children. How is she clean and smart and the teachers love her, but she doesn't have money for lunch? So I was always like mocked for that.
Yeah.
And
did you feel shame when you were running to the container?
I used to.
Yeah.
That was before I understood where I was in life and that the seasons had changed. So,
and this is your 11-year-old self, right?
Yeah.
Saying that to you at 11.
Yes.
What?
I was, because you always, they'd always say things about this food.
Yeah.
Oh no, fish smells so terribly. You just ate that. You're going to smell like it, that type of thing. But I understood that I was hungry and that I needed food to function well in class.
What?
So I eventually learned how to go into the kitchen and get food without thinking of other children because I understood where I was coming from and I knew that I needed that meal.
Yeah.
And it was about my stomach,
Yeah.
not about them. So there were children who would go hungry than, face those tantrums that they were being mocked with.
Oh my God. So the shame crippled them that much that they could not even walk to the container.
Yes. So I learned to understand that nobody likes me. The children in school don't like me. And I said, I'm not there for them because at the end of the day, I'm like topping the class. I'm number one and they didn't matter to me.
So you can't touch me. I'm still top in the class.
Yes. Well, I wasn't arrogant at all, but I was just like, it's fine. It's okay. I need this meal. And when we closed for schools, they'd give us a bag of peas, a bag of milli and a bag of carrots. And I was always there. I could never miss those because I knew during the holidays I needed that kind of food.
Oh, yes.
So
yeah.
I was trying to adjust. I lived in my thoughts most of the time. All the time I was trying to, put together the puzzle as to, so this is where we are now. How do I adjust into this? And the one thing that worked the most for me was unleashing my spirituality. There was this teacher that introduced me to praying, meditation.
So the teachers understood what you were going through?
Well, they didn't know about it.
Okay.
It's only this particular teacher that knew. And so he introduced me to praying and to reading the scripture. And the first thing he taught me was 1 Corinthians 13 about love. So I began to read more on the word and it was always comforting to me.
Wow.
And I prayed about everything.
Yeah.
About everything.
Yeah.
God, may my mom please have a job. May this please happen. Can I please pass this test? May I please feel confident about myself. When I walk into the classroom, may I not feel intimidated because of the comments that the children are throwing at me. May I always be at peace.
So this is the inner conversation that you're having.
Yes. That was me praying all the time. So I became such a strong prayer being.
Yeah.
That it was shocking to my mom because she's like, I've never been spiritual like that.
Yeah.
So all the time we began to now pray together as a family.
So mom started praying with you?
Yes.
Yeah.
Mom started praying with me and we prayed all the time. And it felt a bit easier. The weight was off my bed, and I knew that there was somebody who was taking care of me. That all I have to do is just to wake up in the morning, and he'd provide my needs. He'd protect me. So even when my mom started working, because she started with night shift like 3 times a week or so, I had to be the one that's looking after my brothers.
Okay.
Come home, clean the house, prepare the food, prepare them for crèche, another one for school at 11. And I could not have done it on my own if it was not of God,
So you've always seen this hand that was working in you, through you.
Yes.
And maybe at the mindset of an 11-year-old, you couldn't say, oh no, that's a hand of God. But then you knew that it's okay for me to wake up into the next day because there's something or someone who's working in that. Yeah.
I believe there was a divine source that was just watching over me. And that I had to just breathe and not worry about the next day,
Yeah.
So that played a huge role in us.
Yeah.
It brought a lot of healing and connection to my mom and myself.
Wow.
It kind of made us come together and be close. We then learned to understand each other's pain. So we got so close that I was able to ask her questions. And one of the questions I asked her was, Mom, have you forgiven my father? And she said to me, what? A long time ago.
She said that?
She said that.
What?
And that was like still in the year of their separation or so.
Yeah.
And I couldn't believe it. I was like, but if you forgave him, why are we not together with him? And I'm like, how did you forgive him when he didn't come and say sorry?
What?
He still hurts us. He still promises things that he doesn't deliver, but you long forgave him?
Yeah.
I was 11 and that did not make sense. And I
Because for
said,
you, forgiving is okay. Now that you've forgiven him, let's go back together.
let's reconcile.
Yeah.
So, and she said, I forgave him for myself. That was the killer line. I was like, I can't understand how a person can forgive somebody for themselves.
So now you're like, this woman divorced.
This woman something is
to
not
you.
okay with her. How
You're
is
not
this
good.
possible?
Yeah.
And she said to me, if I did not forgive him, I was not going to be able to continue with my life. So I did it for myself. I deserved to be happy.
What?
So for me to heal myself and move on, I needed to forgive him.
Yeah.
He said, for me to be a loving mom to you guys, to be welcoming, to be supportive towards you, I needed to forgive him. Which explained why things were becoming better.
So mom realizes that she needs herself in the story in order for the story to transform. So she realizes that it's about her to take you guys or to take herself to the next level. Hence the connection in the atmosphere begins to change.
Yes. She realized that, and immediately that changed everything. There's a poem in my book titled The Power of a Healed Woman. That describes my mom in that moment, at that time where she was like, you know what? I need to stop sulking and grow up. I need to be a mom for these people.
Wow.
And once she had her mind made up, everything changed.
And you guys felt it.
Yes, everything changed. She was in control. She was loving us. She was on top of everything.
Yeah.
She believed more in God. She was very, very much calm. She loved us, and everything was polite. Being at home was welcoming. It was loving. It felt like we had everything, even though we didn't have anything. So we had each other, and that is what mattered.
Yeah.
When you didn't have anything, you would hardly say, we never went to bed hungry. Whatever that we had was good enough.
Yeah.
We had bedtime stories. We laughed. How was your day? She was present. She was a healed woman is untouchable. Once she has healed, she has realized what has hurt her. She has confronted it, and she has decided to take her power from it.
Yeah.
So once she had made up her mind, things had changed forever.
Wow.
She realized her power. She unleashed her best self.
Yes.
And she became unstoppable. She became this force.
Yeah.
And she said, I don't need a man in my life for me to be who I am.
Yeah.
Especially to you guys. For me to be a mom, I will need to understand that having myself alone is enough.
Yeah.
And that brought us this far.
What did that moment do for you when you seen that mom is healed and she's unstoppable and she's this force? What did that do for you?
It left me in confusion. I didn't understand how she had forgiven my dad and moved on.
Yeah.
It was a shocker for me.
Yeah.
All the time.
Yeah.
But I admired that.
Okay.
I looked up to that, and I wanted better for myself as well. I wanted to
Wow.
also heal from that.
Yeah, because you were broken. There were part of you that was broken as well. So in the healing, you both had to heal.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I admired that and wanted to be a part of that as well. So I decided to give my dad a chance.
Yeah.
But at that time, when I gave him a chance, it was more of what could I get from this person? Can he please be there for me? And for years, he disappointed me. It's like he didn't love us anymore.
Yeah.
He didn't care about us. My voice did not make him feel like a father to me anymore. Like he wasn't touched by my tears anymore.
Yeah.
I felt like he became this tough person towards us
What?
for many years. So I decided I'm not gonna pursue a relationship with him anymore. I cut him off.
Yeah.
Wasn't contacting him or anything. I just knew that my source of everything was my
Were
mom.
you angry at that point? When
I
you were
was
cutting him?
disappointed.
Yeah.
I was so disappointed. And the anger had a little bit, had disappeared a bit because of my writing. I was writing more about the stuff.
Yeah.
So I slightly, forgot about him.
Okay.
Not in a hateful way.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then later at my life, I asked him, but what really happened? And I remember the day where everything just fell apart.
Yeah.
I remember the time when my dad wanted to be with us and he was not allowed to. I now understood that it was not his fault. And that I had to give him a chance. And this time things have changed completely. I didn't give him a chance because I wanted to get something from him.
Yeah.
I gave him a chance because I was healed.
Yeah.
And I wanted him to know that I'm not angry at him.
Yeah.
And I wanted him to know that we can still be that father and daughter. We can still have that relationship. So now I thought more of what can I give to this person instead of what can I get from him.
Yeah.
So
How old are you at this point when you making that shift in your mind?
I made that shift in my mind when I was in 17. I was in grade 12.
Okay.
And I thought to myself, oh, maybe he's not such a bad person. And maybe there's more that I can get.
Yeah.
Maybe there's more that I can get from loving this person.
Yeah.
I could find peace and contentment inside of myself. I could build this relationship sooner than later.
Yeah.
So I gave him that chance.
Yeah.
I was there empathizing with my dad. I'm like imagining the situation that he was in. Because every time when I thought of him, the reason why I kept giving him a chance is because the only memory of him that I had in my head was this loving father. And it didn't make sense to me how he neglected us the way that he did.
Yeah.
So now I gave him a chance purely because I thought he might be a good person. Maybe he was going through a phase. So I was now doing things from a point of understanding and empathizing with him.
Yeah.
That I'm sure it was hard for him to also disconnect with us.
Yeah.
Maybe he disconnected with us because he needed to. He was forced to.
Okay. Was he forced to? Yeah.
Sadly, yeah.
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 Okay.
So now my dad says to me, you are the only person that I can speak to about anything. You listen to me and you give me your best thoughts and advice. So we have that kind of relationship now. It's moved.
Yeah.
And my mom was like, how can you be so loving towards your father because he was not there for you? And I said, no, lady, you taught me how to forgive this person.
Yeah.
And
so it has to be consistent.
She didn't see it coming.
Yeah.
I said to her, I learned to forgive because you taught me to forgive. So now it was coming back to her.
Yeah.
And she was surprised by it. And she was, okay, so this is where we are. And I said to her, I don't love him because I'm trying to replace you. I could never. I need the both of you for a balance in my life. And I said, I need my dad for certain things in my life that you can't provide. My mom is not the best listener.
Yes.
But my dad is.
Yeah.
So when I get there and I say, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, he listens to me.
Yeah.
And he uses logic and he tries to balance the situation. And that made me feel special.
Wow.
Because, that person could just be in my presence just to listen to me.
Yeah.
I never got a chance to be listened to for the longest time in my life.
Okay. And then suddenly there's this person who's just
person
saying,
that
you might be sounding crazy, but go on.
Yeah.
And then there's no one who says, no, you are sounding crazy. Like, shut up.
Yes.
Like, there's that switch.
So that was one of the packs that came with me giving my dad a chance, not wanting to expect something in return.
Wow.
So that was like,
yeah.
oh, so I could have something like this. It was so amazing. So he listened to me more. And I think that's why I am now in a position where I reciprocate that to him. Because you can imagine being a broken man, being unemployed for many years, because that's what happened with him.
Yeah.
Being unemployed for many years, and you lose your voice in the family. Nobody wants to listen to you. You can't bring anything into the table.
Yeah.
Why do you think you matter?
Because
So now-
you're not bringing money.
So now to have somebody that is willing to listen to you, that calls you every time of the week and says, hello, I love you, are you good? So that to him, so now we began to have this connection, because we
Wow.
understand we have
Yeah.
a solid foundation. We both want to be listened to. We both need to be loved.
Yeah.
And we could be that for each other.
Yeah.
So that was incredible.
Yeah.
And one of the things that I realized with this puzzle in the story of my life is that it didn't happen to break me.
What?
That was not the sole purpose. Yes, I got broken in the whole mix, but it was there to teach me that you can recover from brokenness. I mean, it broke each and every single one of us. My
Yes.
mom, my dad, myself. But hey,
Yeah.
we're healed. We're healed. You should have seen what happened in my book launch. My dad cried. He wept till he shivered. Seeing a man being vulnerable like that. And he
And
said
which
to,
vulnerability is not sexy, right? Or
Yo,
we taught that
yo.
vulnerability is not sexy.
in the midst of
Yeah.
everybody, and he said, this I needed, this is healing me. I never thought my own daughter would do this for me. So it broke us, but at the end we all came together and we are at peace, we are healed. And my mom and dad can call each other and say, so Pam is doing this on Saturday, could you come? Could you know,
What? Yeah.
it has gotten better.
Yeah.
It's a bond that nobody can shake.
And in a very ironical way, Sana, is that maybe, right, just maybe, if that the system had not collapsed, you guys would have still been in the system, but that level of authenticity will not have been there. Okay?
Yes.
So what is the deliberate act on writing a hymn of healing, right? Literally, where I see it, I'm like, is this it? So you were deliberate about it, and it being this small and being sort of a manifesto of healing. What was the deliberate act about it? Because you've been writing, you could have put more, you could have, but you decided to have it this.
Tell you what, I have 2 books before
Yeah.
this one that I haven't published yet. And those books are the ones that I was intentional about. I was expressing every thought. They're very detailed. I just have a lot of sonnets in that book. It's
Yes.
much way bigger than this.
Yes.
It's thick.
Yes.
Some thick anthology of poetry. You know, it's a
Yes.
series of that.
Yeah.
And that was more on my healing.
Yeah.
That was more on, I feel like this and I'm writing on this. But this one, this book
Yes.
was something that I've been carrying in my womb for a long time, and I didn't know about it.
Yeah.
Because when I sat down in that week and I slept at 2 a.m. every morning for the week and I was done with this book was, the first time I read it, I couldn't believe I wrote this.
What?
So for me, this,
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah.
This is a wonder to me. It shocks me as
Yeah,
well. And
yeah.
I'm just like, okay,
Yeah.
I didn't know this.
Yeah.
I didn't know I was carrying such a thing inside of myself. So this book, I was just really, I don't know what happened. My
You
mentor
were being
said,
done.
yes.
Yeah.
My mentor said to me, what's going on with your books? And I said, I just said, okay, fine. Write another book.
Yeah.
Then let's see how we publish it.
Yeah.
And in the space of a week, I published it on my birthday. I had this book and I was like, here's my book. I want to publish this book.
Yeah.
And I don't know how this happened.
Yeah. Yeah.
I just realized though that yes, I might have written those 2 books and I felt alive and all of that jazz. And I realized that it was actually not about me. It was for somebody.
Yeah.
I looked at this book in a perspective of what can I give to the reader more than what can I get for myself. So I don't know how I came up with this book.
Yeah.
I really do not know. Talk about divine intervention and connection.
Yeah.
Talk about, being connected to yourself.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think this is one of the stuff that happens.
Yeah. And I feel it and I felt it when I was reading it, right? So I want to take a short break, and when we come back, I will read from you when I was reading, I was like, okay. And we will take one of yours, which you still read and get to, okay.
Yeah.
And then we'll talk about those. And then what is your wish for you to about the reader? What do you wish people to get out of the book, right? So we'll do that right after this break. So, welcome back. This is the book feature of the Imperative magazine, and I am sitting with the amazing SanaKing. And I'm not just saying the word amazing because it sounds right. You are amazing. And for me, the takeaway from the story is how much we have, how much control we have over our life. And that it doesn't matter what happens around us. And sometimes when we say that, people are like, have you seen or do you know what I've gone through, right?
Yeah.
So these stories, for me, bring out that the power, the authentic power that we have in ourselves, and that when we constantly step into that vibration, we get the answers, or we get that path, or we get that step ladder that we need to go wherever we need to go to. And your story, and that's why I kept on saying, how old were you, how old were you? Because at 11, where you can say the feeding scheme container is up, and it doesn't matter what you say about me, I need that food, and I still need to slam that test with or without you. And going home and seeing this mom, where you've got a picture of what a mother needs to be, but you don't have that, but you stepping closer and closer into yourself and understanding what language can I begin to communicate to myself. And in you, spirituality became that force or that path that you needed. So
Yes.
it's a beautiful healing story that I find, and where I'll go into what I read, and I was like, what? Silence your advocates, right? That's the poem that I read, and I was like, okay, so we're gonna have to talk about this.
Ooh. That's
So yeah, it
deep
is
poem.
it is right. And those of you who are watching, obviously you're still gonna have to get this book, right? But I'll read a bit for you, and so that you can understand that what got me into. Okay, Sana, let's talk. So, Sana, I'm reading from page 8, and the poem is Silence Your Advocates. Shh. Don't say it. Shh. Keep it to yourself. This will bring too much shame. Keep quiet about it. This is a letter written to you by the people who really don't care about you. These are the people who taught you to be afraid of your voice, just as they are afraid of it. They taught you that your opinion does not matter. They passed to you the culture of silence. They order you to silence your advocate, your emotions, your tears, and all signs that speak on your behalf. They taught you that it is wrong to express yourself, to be afraid to feel. The people that wrote this letter taught you that you can never come first. Shh. They emphasize when you open your mouth. They taught you to bottle your power. They said your truth is too loud. You see it in the way they always run away from communicating. They do nothing except to communicate. Free your advocates. Amplify your voices. Wow. That is deep and amazing. And that resonates with so many people, so many of us who come from the family. I mean, every family, or in our journey, there's a shame that we pick up. Yet we taught not to talk or to say anything about that. Where did you get that? Where's that coming from? And where are you coming? Which side of you is communicating from here?
I am, for the longest time, I was taught not to talk. You know, when my mom asked me a question and I was answering her, she's like, "Are you answering me?" The person is asking you a question, and when you answer, they're like, "Oh, you know how to answer.
Yeah.
You're back chatting. You're talking back to me."
Yeah.
And I was like, "Okay, so it means I'm not supposed to talk.
So let's keep quiet then.
Let's keep quiet then."
Yeah.
And every time you try to express yourself towards anybody, or maybe your friend that's hurt you or anything, and you say to them, "I don't like it when this, can we please talk about this later?" Maybe they just run away from hearing how your true self feels.
Wow. Yeah.
So I've been shut on a lot of, things a lot of times, and I wanted to express how I really felt. And I was told, no, Don't.
It's a waste of time.
Don't.
Let's
You're
talk
not meant
about
to cry.
what
Your emotions, just switch off your mind. Switch off your emotions. You can't be doing this. And also, I've heard stories that happens in families, and when somebody wants to come out about it, they're like, no, it's going to bring shame. It's embarrassing to us. What are people going to say about this? So you are taught that you're just an object and you don't matter.
Yeah.
How you feel about anything that's happening to you does not matter, so you don't talk about it.
Yet our system is not designed like that, because the emotions that we lock in find a weaker place in us to come out, and it comes out either in a form of sickness or a burst or a collapse. So the more we're being told to silence our advocates, the more we're breaking this system, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
True.
Yeah.
It is like that. You have tears because you're meant to cry.
Yeah.
You have emotions because you're meant to feel.
Yeah.
You have your lips and your voice because you're meant to speak.
Yeah.
So if you're taught to do the opposite, then what's the use of you having all of those things?
Wow.
Because whether you like it or not, to every action there is a reaction. So you can't pretend as if you're not reacting to something.
Yeah.
So when you're meant to speak, you need to be allowed to talk.
To talk.
Even young boys, don't cry. From a young age, a boy child is told not to cry.
Yeah.
A man doesn't cry.
And we wonder why our men get at a certain stage and they're so toxic. And we're
And
wondering...
they can't communicate.
Yeah, because they've never been able to communicate.
Yeah,
and
don't
crying
cry.
is weak.
Don't talk. Yeah.
Yeah.
So this is just to tell the reader that it's okay to be vulnerable.
Yeah.
It's okay to feel.
Yeah.
There is a time for you to cry and let it happen.
Yeah.
Because if you do not release this bad energy,
Yeah.
if you do not release it, it's going to withhold you from living your best self.
Wow. But practically though, for someone who does not have anyone that they can talk to, right? Because you and I are at the position where we can talk to someone and express ourselves, because we had to rattle the cage whether people were willing to hear us in this journey or not. We did. And eventually you saw a moment which you never thought you would see, like your dad at the book launch, where he was just, vulnerable and happy to be vulnerable, right? But you had to push certain walls to do that. Practically, for people who don't have that, how do they begin to build that system?
That is a wonderful question. Very important.
Very important, yeah.
I don't have the ultimate truth as to how a person can achieve that, but I can give you just how I did it.
Yes, yeah.
If I wasn't writing,
Yeah.
I was doing the craziest thing
Yeah.
that shocked my grandfather, and he was like, what?
Yeah.
So I'd take my phone and pretend to be on a phone call with somebody.
What?
And I said, so my day was like this, and I don't know how I feel about this. What do you think? So I'd unpack everything to myself. Tell you what, my inner voice will be talking to me, and everything will make sense.
Yeah.
So I built that for myself. I don't know how I got to it, but I felt I needed to. So I'd really be like, so I'm on the taxi now, and I'm just overwhelmed.
And who's listening to you at that time?
It doesn't matter.
Okay.
Because what makes sense is that they think I'm on the phone and I'm not. So when you pass me on the phone, you think everything is normal, but it's not.
Okay.
I'm genuinely not talking to anybody.
So you pretending to be talking to someone and you're just letting it out.
Yes.
So even the guy outside thinks this is a woo moment, right? So, Sana, then can we not call it crazy? Because maybe the society that we come from taught us that when you are laughing by yourself or having a conversation by yourself, because what you're saying is, I sometimes, turn off the radio in my car and I'm just having a conversation with myself, with my hands, and we just in conversation, right?
Yes.
The person driving next to me could be saying, oh, maybe she's on the phone, but I'm just by myself.
Yes.
So maybe we shouldn't call it crazy and call it a moment with myself, so that you can come together to yourself, right?
Hey, can I just read something very short? From page 5.
Page 5, okay.
A poem titled Lonely.
Okay.
Lonely. It's an adjective that means sad because one has no friends or company. And my words are saying, don't let this happen to you. Don't drink from this cup. It's not your cup of tea. You should not be here. You have so many souls inside you that want to play, those that want to cuddle, and others are waiting upon you to read them bedtime stories. So that
Yeah.
was me saying, you've got so many people inside of you. A lot of personalities inside of you.
Yeah.
You have your spirit, your soul, you've got your body. You are a full powerhouse.
Yeah.
Therefore, you have all the right and the means to communicate with yourself because you're not alone in yourself.
Yeah.
So I believe that inside of ourselves, there's like a lot of personalities, a
Yes.
lot of people.
Yeah.
And yeah, that's the power that one has.
Wow.
So I'm just saying that you're not alone. You don't talk to yourself alone. You know, like
Yeah.
there's some part in your brain
There's
that you need to talk to.
multiple.
There's
Yeah.
some part in your heart that you need to address.
Yeah.
So it's important.
Yeah.
A person might think, no, I'm not going to be pretending I'm on the phone like I'm crazy. No.
Yeah.
You can be on the mirror. Or you could switch on your voice note
Yeah.
and speak.
Yeah.
Let it roll out. And then just say, I feel like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You know, just speak to yourself and feel like somebody's listening to you. Somebody's hearing you.
And someone is listening to you, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Because also, you know, what you meditate on, what you speak, you just put it into the atmosphere as well. And by the end of every conversation that you make with yourself, make sure that you seal it with a positive mindset. That I'm speaking about this to myself because I want a solution to it.
Yeah.
I want to feel better about it.
Oh,
So be
that's
intentional.
good. So you're not just moaning and saying, "Oh, I feel this." So seek solution, right?
Yes.
Because that which you seek finds you, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Seek solution. And everything that you need is inside of yourself. A person may come and try to motivate you, but if
Yeah.
you're not switching on that motivation, acceptance, whatever inside of you, it's not going to
Exactly.
work.
Yeah.
So for anything to work at all, you need to be open to it.
Yeah.
You need to be willing.
It needs to
so the
land
power,
on something.
yes,
Yeah.
the power to will is inside of you. And
Wow.
until you say, I'm switching on this power to will,
Yeah.
I will to be healed.
Yeah.
I will to do 1, 2, 3. It's not going to work.
Wow.
So everything is inside of you.
So I don't want to ask you your favorite because it's just like me asking me which one of my children is my my favorite. So,
Right.
Yeah. So maybe the one that you're more feeling today. Which one is that?
Hey, you can't really ask of a favorite because, you know,
Yeah.
at a different point, I relate to this poem more. You know, it's
Yeah.
always, everything is important. It all comes together.
Yeah.
So I just want to define healing. Because a person may be sitting there and asking themselves, healing?
Yeah.
What do I need healing from?
Yeah.
I've never had a divorce.
Yeah.
I come from a family where I had both parents. I went to the
Yeah.
best schools. What do I need to heal from? You know? And I feel like everybody needs to heal from something. The person that you're competing with is yourself.
Yeah.
And there are certain habits and things that you have inside of yourself that you need to heal from.
Yeah.
A person needs to heal from negative talk.
Yeah.
Self-talk. You can't say to yourself, oh, I'm ugly. Oh, I don't do this. Oh, you need to, yes, it's good to know yourself and be familiar with your weak points and so forth. But you cannot omit parts of yourself because you want to love yourself.
Yeah.
When you love yourself, you need to love yourself for all your baggages, all what you went through, because it's a
Everything.
part of you.
Yeah.
For you to be a better person that you are today means there's a story that happened to you, and you can't omit that. You can't overlook that. It made you who you are, and if there's anybody that is there to love you, they should love you the way that you are.
We are a
People
story,
need to
yo.
understand that
Yeah.
what happens to you does not define you.
Yeah.
It does not. You need to understand that your power is above what you go through. It cannot define you. You cannot be defined by anything materialistic or any situation. No. That's like, I don't know what to compare it with or to. It's not good enough. That's
I
not
call
living.
it not living. I call it when I want to choose a certain story of my life to define me, I'm like not living because I am this complex person with multiple souls or spirituality that lives in me. So how is it that one thing can define me? So I need to hear it, I need to feel it, I need to allow it through me, because obviously there's a checkpoint that I need to check in me with every situation.
Yes.
But it can't be a stop.
Yes.
Because if it's a stop, then I've forgotten or I'm stopping how to live, right?
These are all the avenues you need to go through to unleash who we really are.
Yeah.
We're just unleashing stuff. We're just
Yeah.
discovering stuff.
Yeah.
We're getting opportunities to build ourselves.
Yeah.
ourselves. We are not being defined by these things.
By those things.
So healing,
So healing. So this is page 10, hey?
page 13. Healing, defined as a fuel that takes us from hurt to peace and joy. Food for the soul, peace for the mind, a dream to many. Healing, a currency that remains a luxury for many. A qualification institutions refuse to teach. A lesson taught by no teacher. A course no one can ever qualify to graduate for. A school that has no after school. Healing, the rejected cornerstone that balances homes, hearts, and souls. Healing, a wonder that does not just happen unless authorized. Authorized by your heart, mind, and soul. The ability to forgive yourself. The second coming of love, grace, and peace. Healing, the grace you must grant to yourself and to your trespassers in order to obtain peace. Healing, defined as the way of life. Ask your skin. It survives upon perching itself. Tear after tear, bruise after bruise, and wound after wound. Ask your immune system and body tissues. Theirs is the fight for healing. Theirs is to constantly recover from all what hurts you. Healing.
Wow. I don't know what to say after that, right? I don't know what do I add after that besides, it's nobody gets qualification from healing because we are evolving beings.
Yes.
And so healing from this does not make me the master of the next, right?
Yes.
It's a constant process.
I think you do the best as a poetry teacher because the way that you analyze and interpret stuff is perfect.
I've got a new role.
It's perfect. It's just perfect.
Yeah.
You can never graduate from healing. You're not the master of this. Every time, for everything that hurts you, you need to go through it like you've never done it before. You need to be present. You can't say the last time I read a book and I was okay, I watched this film and it worked. No, you need to analyze what hurts you, why you hurt, how does this make you feel? Do you want to stay here? How do you plan on moving forward from this? So each and everything that hurts you need all of your full time and attention for you to heal from it.
But you know what is important about this and why I love this, right? Before I ask you your last part in short, is that the ego makes us believe that, oh, I've done that. I've got the t-shirt. I'm good. The ego never taps you and say you are an evolving being. Yet the soul knows that you're an evolving being, right?
Yes.
And the soul is like, we are on the journey. And so what happened yesterday is not us. What happened yesterday is us moving forward, almost transitioning from one point to the other, right?
Yes.
And for me, this the healing and the poem and everything around here, it's just a reminder that as evolving being, there's the constant checks, those spots where we need to go into. Ask your immune system, ask your skin, ask your body tissues, ask everything in you. They're constantly reviving and renewing themselves. So how would you not as a person, right?
It's incredible. I don't remember having a scar. I don't remember having a bruise or a wound that never healed and became a scar. It always heals.
Exactly.
Your body tissues always come together and then you have your skin, it's recovered again. It always happens. It knows my job, I'd have to do this. I'm there. That's me. I'm there. You know? So you can't run away from that. And you need to accept that I always say this, you need to accept first and acknowledge that, oh, I am actually hurt. So when I was 11 and I was angered and I was like, oh, my heart breaks. I didn't know I could be hurt. I didn't know that. So when that happened to me, I was like, okay, so I'm hurt. I have a problem. My heart is broken. I'm angry. I didn't know that. Because nobody tells you those things and everything makes you feel in a different way. So I didn't know this. So I had to acknowledge it and said, I have anger issues. I'm angry and I need to get over this.
And don't blame the next person, because the person that you're expecting healing or comfort from, they could also have not learned how to heal themselves. And so you're expecting a lot out of the person who is just at an infancy stage of healing.
It's crazy.
It's crazy.
Because, in that Imagine Healing poem, there's a part where I said, imagine coming to terms with the fact that the world does not owe you anything. Nobody owes you anything. Even the people that hurt you do not owe you an apology.
Not even your mother?
They don't owe you anything. So when you have a mother who's present, my mom's mom always says to her, I don't know how you stood it out. She said, I thought you would have ran. I thought you would have left your kids with me.
Yeah.
I don't know how you stuck it out and became a mother in this situation. You know? So everything. Knowing that nobody owes you anything teaches you to appreciate.
Yeah.
It
And to
teaches you to-
stand into yourself and stand up for yourself.
Yes, you learn to appreciate.
Les Brown says it, and he always say it in a very funny way. He says sometimes you have to stand up to yourself and say, "Shut up."
Yes, I think I saw something on that. Yes, I say,
"Shut up," and he says you have to be that loud with yourself, because sometimes the things that you say to yourself are not helping you.
Yes.
Right, Sana, you and I are gonna talk the whole day, right? I know we will, because this is a very beautiful book that reveals and uncovers something else, and which, after calling out my first disclaimer, deliberately I was saying that to the viewers or anyone who's listening to us, that you'll see the book and you'll feel, but when you go into it, you'll go,
yeah.
So in my view, this is a book that you put on your nightstand. This is like that manifesto that you go into for every whatever. It doesn't matter what you're going through. All of us are mentors and mentees at some
Timeless.
point, So
Timeless.
it's that book where I'll go to and say the power of a healed woman, because as a woman, I will be healed. But let's not restrict it to a woman, because the man needs to heal as well.
Tell you what,
Yeah.
in the word woman, there's men.
Yeah.
So this book is for the womb man and the man.
Yeah.
It's not restrictive in terms of gender or whatsoever.
Yeah, exactly.
And I did not deliberately title it with this.
Yeah.
So it's the songs broken we men sing. So it's men and women in it.
You just said it.
So it's both men and women in this.
Yeah.
And I would not like the reader to feel like, oh, I'm excluded from this.
Yes,
No,
yeah.
it's both the men and the women in this read.
Wow.
It's both the men and women in the street. Tell you what, my friends at the book launch, and they looked at how we went all out for the book launch.
Yeah.
And they're like, so Pam, is this it? You called us for this? And
Yeah.
and that's what this book taught me, that
Yeah.
really, really, really dynamites come in small
In
packages.
very small packages.
And
I
small
believe
packages.
That. Yeah.
I too was very doubtful about this. I was like, but this is such a small book. I
Yeah.
have 2 books that can amount to 300 pages.
Yeah.
Why do I not publish those ones?
Yeah.
But at that point in time, it was the time for this book to go
Yeah.
out there. I had to believe in it, that with as little as it is everything that can be useful to a person. That when you look at this, you need not to just, look at what you're looking at, but
Yeah.
think of what you can get from it. Because this is my heart into the world. I call it my memo of healing.
Yeah.
But there's only there's one common ground in this book. I said it, that our stories are different.
Yes.
Our stories are different, but one thing in common, we are our own healers. No one can heal you.
Yeah.
God will not just say, I'm healing you. He does not invade your space like that. You have to say, I'm asking for healing. So you, being your own healer, you're the one that taps into, yes, I want healing. Please heal me.
Yes.
So that's the
Yeah.
one thing that we have in common, that nobody's coming to save you. For you to be healed,
You've got yourself to
you've
save.
got yourself.
Yeah.
So it's...
Sana, thank you so much for being here, right, on the Imperative Book Review feature, on the Imperative Magazine, because your
Yes.
story is very imperative, and that is why we thought it will be imperative for us to have you here. So we wish you well, and we know, I know personally that this book will go on to be one of the most important books that I read and I go on to read in later, my later stage as a grandmother in my life.
Thank you.
And good luck with your journey, right? To the Sana, the young Sana, or the Sana now, or the older Sana who's listening to us, what do you want to say to them?
Phew. One of my greatest values is gratitude. I give thanks, for being where I am. I give thanks to the source of everything that gives us the breath of living. It took people to put this together.
Yes.
I have Tandazani on the cover. I have Doc Designs who, these are people that came into this and said, Pam, we see your vision and we want to be a part of it. So I'm giving gratitude to such people. Humanity, remembering that we need each other. So what I will tell to the young SanaKing or to the SanaKing in the future is that you must never forget that you're not enough alone. You're good, you have the content, you're great, but you need another person.
Yeah.
And when you are climbing onto the ladder, take somebody with you so that when you fall, they can continue the journey. So I'll say to myself, whenever you plant a seed, plant it with diligence. Be intentional about it. Know that you're doing something great. And remember to give gratitude all the time. Just give thanks.
Give thanks and give
thanks.
gratitude all the time. Because I am, because you are.
Yes,
right?
yes.
There's nothing better than that. You and I are sitting here looking all lovely, but there's beautiful people behind the cameras who are making sure that we're going to come out so perfect.
It's a journey. We need each other. So I always remind
Yeah.
myself that you need to tag along
Yeah.
a people when you go. You need other people for your vision to be there. You know, you need to serve. That is very important.
That is very
Serving
important.
is important.
Anyone who's going to buy this book, which I know you will, please go read Letters to My Daughter. And my parting shot, I'm going to read just a sentence from that. And it's, for me, just amazing. And it seals it all, right? And it says, and I will say to my daughters, but your contentment cannot come from your husband. You are the Lord's before you are your husband's. Your joy is entirely found in the Lord. Your husband is evolving, constantly finding himself, whilst the Lord is constant, the same yesterday, today, forever. When you say some people are, and I'm looking at in terms of holistically, your friends, your family, everyone, your boss, your colleagues, everyone is constantly evolving.
Yes.
And so you need to find joy. They need to find joy so that together you can bring a healed souls or healed world.
Yes.
That's my parting shot. And I wish everyone to read the entire Letters to My Daughters. And not just that, but all the beautiful poems that are here.
Yes.
Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you.
We know we'll see you soon.
If anything, my greatest motto or something that gets me back on my feet is the sun will rise and we will try again. So each and every day when the sun rises, forget about the yesterday, it's about today. So you need to go with the flow. If you love somebody, accept them for who they change to be. Every day when you decide today, I'm this person, love that person for who they are, hence the evolving part of it. Don't want to hold on to one thing. The only person that is constant and consistent is God. So when you know that, okay, only one person is unchangeable and the other ones can change, then you're sorted.
We're there.
Yes, because once you hold on to something, it comes with a lot of disappointment and hurt. And we don't want that. So this is my timeless anthology of poetry that I hope builds a reader. I hope that when a person reads this, it unleashes who they are and it works for the better and the good of who they want to become. Yeah.
Thank you so much, SanaKing, and for being here. And we do wish you well. Thank you.
you.
Well done.
Thank you very much.